What's going on, everybody? This is Colin Thompson, the host of the Colin Thompson Show. Hope everyone had a 4th of July, a fun, a safe, exciting, however you want to celebrate it, and however you want to handle your day. I hope you had a great 4th of July, a fun American holiday, that's for sure. Jack, what'd you get into, buddy?
We had a very low key 4th of July. I was back hard at work. The deck. There luck no injuries this time. We did the fence this weekend around. Then we just fried up some wings. Kept it pretty low key. Watched some fireworks. And my neighbors always just love to shoot off fireworks. So it's just we got our own little personal show around us. So it was nice. Pretty quiet compared to most years, but I enjoyed it. What about you?
We just hung at the house, man. It was great. I actually end up, I say this, July 3rd, we had a party at the house, which was great for just our neighbors and some family and friends that could make it. Just kept it really small. It was awesome. So thankful for me. This time of year is like kind of crunch time for me, training wise and socially. And we'll get in some of that here, but it kind of comes to an end. This is where like the fun was over for me. And now I'm all in. July 4th is like my day. So I have a good day, have some fun, have some cocktails. And then that's it. I'm getting ready to go. All the
I
way.
get a kick out of it. Like, you were hard at work for this party. I mean, so like I was telling Colin, so we run Not For Long YouTube. I get to see like some people watching videos, and the one day there's just 15 like brisket how to cook Like, this man was locked in like it was a Sunday film session or Monday film session.
I'm dialed on the brisket. We did brisket. We did ribs. We did wings. So shout out to Meat Church. Shout out to How to Barbecue Right, Malcolm Reed. Shout out to Bama Grill Master. I spatchcocked and kind of split the chicken 3 different ways, which was really unique for like a giant chicken wing that sometimes they're hard to cook, right? People that bake a lot of chicken, it doesn't cook all the way through. It gets a little red around the bone. So he splits the chicken drumstick in half, and then he takes it and he cuts it. He cuts those pieces in half to create thirds, right? And then it opens and kind of spatchcocks and lays the chicken down. So we smoked the chicken on the Traeger grill that way. So shout out to Traeger, the best. I was a green egg guy, and I do love the green egg. Don't get me wrong, but it is so convenient how the temperature on the Traeger always goes back to what you want it to be on. That is so big. If you want to go grab a beer, play some cornhole, do whatever, the green egg, if the wind picks up or something happens, you got to be there to move the egg or change things or slide, the different things that need to be moved to make the heat what it is. So I love the new Traeger. It's been awesome. We had the Blackstone going too. So we smoked the wings, and then we took them and we crisped them on the Blackstone real quick. So they were money. We did the ribs. They were fantastic. They're so easy to do. Watched a lot of Meat Church and watched a lot of How to Barbecue Right, our former guest, Malcolm Reed, to talk about that. And then did brisket overnight, and then wrapped it. Once we got the bark we wanted to have on it, took the trimming. So we kept everything from the brisket and made like a brisket tallow, a beef tallow out of it, which is like a gold liquid fat essentially, and then poured it back on the brisket for some juice, sliced it up. It was unbelievable. So we did that. Then we did a little sausage on flat top. We had salads. People dropped the ball. They forgot, mac and cheese. I had family show up late because they were partying around town, having a good time, which I don't blame them. It was a beautiful day in Annapolis. So they were supposed to bring coleslaw and shrimp salad. So end of the day, it was a great time, Jack. And, got to break in kind of the new bar at the house, which was awesome. So
it sounds like I'm missing out. It sounds like you really are running a whole restaurant back there. You got like 3 whole set of, that's really impressive.
Well, listen, I think next year we'll have to have a Colin Thompson show, Not For Long Media. We're going to have a party regardless here, as we've had our big kind of first team meeting of what's to come in the future here last week, and there's a lot of great things coming. I've been saying it for a while now, but things take time. A lot of different hosts. Everyone's got different jobs, and shout out to Jack, the team we have, because we have an unbelievable group where we're getting north of 10, 12, 15, almost 20 quote unquote, I don't want to say employees, but friends of the podcast here that are actually working and making these things go behind the scenes and making all of us look much prettier than we are. That's for sure, especially me and Brian. So, shout out to our team, because we have now a legit unit of people moving and working, and excited for the future, and very lucky. So we're excited, and honestly, we're very excited to have awesome partnerships with us here at Not For Long Media, making this thing go. We're very fortunate. Shout out to the original Fudge Kitchen. It's 4th of July. It's the holidays. Send somebody some freaking fudge. I mean, that's the best gift. Don't send anybody some, the $20, the grandmother sends you that you're going to end up spending on what? At the movie theater on like one box of candy. Spend $20 on some fudge. You get 2 boxes of fudge, probably, or at least a box of fudge, some saltwater taffies, the whole 9. They ship it right to your front door. Nothing better. Nothing better. My dad came over from Jersey for the party. He brought the fudge. We could have just shipped it to the house, brought the fudge. We were crushing that late night. Everyone was just like, this is so sweet. Did they just make it? It is so fresh. The way they wrap it in the wax paper is the best way to keep things fresh. So shout out to the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. They ship fudge and sweet treats across the country.
Dude, I can't wait.
Dude,
I can't wait, man. I mean, I go down to the shore on Sunday. I can finally get some fudge. I mean, I was down in LBI last week or last month, and unfortunately, didn't have any fudge kitchens down there. So now I finally get to hit a beach that's got not 1 but 2 fudge kitchens.
Ocean City, New Jersey.
It's beautiful.
They have a brand new fudge kitchen there. So we're going to be sending a box of fudge to our man, Stephan Stallings, who's coming on the podcast this week. We're so jacked up to have Steve on. I've got to know Steve and his family through my father-in-law, Fred Dupree. His dad and Fred, my father-in-law, played golf together at LSU. And their buddies went to the Kentucky Derby with their family a couple years ago, had a fantastic time with them. And Steve and I kind of hit pro sports together at the same time and had different periods of sputtering out and trying to make it. And we're very fortunate to have great family and friends that support us. We talked about that on the podcast. We talked about his travels around kind of minor league golf and trying to make it, and last minute call-ups and all the things that happen that people don't get to see when they turn the TV on, and, getting opportunities to play in big matches like he, has coming up this weekend. Perfect timing. Last week we had Taylor Cummings on right before she started the Women's World Cup, and they're off to a hot start, undefeated so far. Of course they are. They're the best team. And then that was great timing. And then this week we have Stephan Stallings come on. He's getting ready to play in the Barbasol Championship. Purse, $3.7 million. That's pretty good. The winner walks away with $666,000. So really cool event going on. That's going to be played in Kentucky out of the European Tour and the PGA Tour, which is pretty cool. July 7th to the 10th. Keene Trace Golf Club Championship Trace course. So excited to have you guys listen to the episode with Stephan. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Again, talking about the grind behind the scenes of the golf world. Everybody sees what it takes to be great, or not what it takes to be great, or what they see what greatness looks like for these guys that are bringing home ridiculous purses. But for the guys at the bottom of the league, like myself, or the guys that are bottom of golf, like Steve, they're trying to find their way in and stick and make it. To me, they're their most interesting stories. They're all interesting. Everybody has a grind and a path, but maybe they're a story that are least told. So that's why they're, the most interesting to me, and I fit in that role. So they find interesting places for me. So go check out Steve. And guys, you can buy tickets. SEET GEEK, $20 off any ticket over $50. Use promo code Colin Thompson, COLINTHOMPSON. Colin Thompson, my full name, Colin with 1 L, Thompson with a P. SEET GEEK, $20 off. Help us help you. $20 off any ticket to any event. SEET GEEK's got events and tickets to everything across the entire world. Use promo code Colin Thompson. Help us help you. And Not For Long Media and the Colin Thompson Show. All right, Jack. So there's a new segment going on here at Not For Long Media. I'm making this more personal. We talked about this in our group meeting. Make it more personal. People don't hear me talk about sports all the time. I'm bringing to you live the newest segment here at Not For Long Media and the Colin Thompson Show, and that's the Bar of the Week. That is the Bar of the Week. People know me, listen to the show. Shocker, I like to go to the bar, have a couple cold beers. That's not a shot. That's not a hot take. That is not a hot take. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pick a Bar of the Week for the next 52 weeks. I'll pick it until the segment runs out. So next July 4th, we'll have T-shirts made of every bar on a map that we decide is the Bar of the Week. People can tweet in their Bar of the Weeks. I can go to it and rate it and do the whole system. We have a rating process. You'll come to find out. I encourage you to rate bars and restaurants the same way we do. My wife and I will sit at a bar. We'll talk about the TVs. Is the beer cold? How's the service? And then food and the ambiance. They're the 4 categories, because some bars don't have food. Some bars have food and awesome ambiance, whatever that may be. And you get rated 1 through 5, 5 being the best, 1 or 0 being the absolute worst. But honestly, if you're making this list, you're getting 4s, 3 4s or 5s on everything. I try to be strict as possible on the ratings. So you're looking at like a Dave Portnoy Barstool Sports vibe with the pizzas. That's where we're going with it. And a place that I'm going to get into today, is a high rated place. But the reason why I did this is because I'll be honest with you, I grew up sitting in a bar. This may sound bad, but it's true and it's real with my dad. And my dad and I would spend quality time together. He'd have a day at work, and we would go to a bar restaurant and we wait for my mom to get back because my mom would be working until 7, and he would take me there at 6, and we'd sit out and hang out, and he'd get me an appetizer, and you have 2 or 3 cold beers, and you talk about the TVs and the service and good food and good people. And I got to learn a lot of different things growing up in Key West, Florida. I'm wearing the Half Shell Raw Bar hat. That will definitely be on our list for the bar of the week. I grew up at a bar stool there. I saw a lot of good things. I saw a lot of bad things. I saw how to act. I saw how not to act. I saw how to treat the service industry people well. I saw what traveling's about, communication, talking to people that are older than me, talking to people and keeping people entertained. And that's been honestly a lot to do with the business that I've been in. I don't think I make it to, the NFL, at least the social side of it, without all that exposure. So it's kind of a business in the service industry that's near and dear to my heart. So I said, shit, why don't I talk about it? And we're going to do the bar of the week here at the Colin Thompson Show. So the bar of the week this week is Davis's Pub in Annapolis, Maryland. Davis's Pub in Annapolis, Maryland. It's in Eastport. It's your neighborhood bar of Annapolis, of Eastport. It's a fantastic place that NASA George showed me a couple of years back, and we absolutely love it. Outdoor seating, indoor seating. It's 30 yards, 20 yards in the water. There's dogs outside. It's a cool, clean dive bar vibe inside with the Navy stuff and the Maryland stuff, and all the local guys that were like referees in the NFL have their cleats hanging up, and there's lacrosse sticks everywhere, and it's a cool bar. Your Food Network's been there. So overall, starting, most importantly, cold beer, we're giving it a 4 out of 5. TVs, 4 out of 5. And again, guys, this is like really good. If you're a 5 out of 5, it's the greatest in the world. The greatest in the world you've ever seen. One of them. So 4 out of 5 on the TVs, 4 out of 5 on the cold beer, 4 out of 5 on the service. Unbelievable bartenders. Great bartenders. And then overall on the food and the ambiance, both super strong. So we're going to go 4 out of 5. So 16 out of 20 for Davis's Pub, Annapolis, Maryland. Check it out. That's our bar of the week here at the Colin Thompson Show. Shout out to Davis's Pub for always taking care of us. And I really
now, let me ask.
Is
pricing, are you going to factor in pricing at all? Like, say you go to a place like really great, but they have the most outrageous prices on a beer.
They won't make it. They won't make it. If you're going to be charging that much money, you're not going to make it. Unless you're on the beach somewhere, or you're somewhere where you're like, you know what, I can justify this. It's worth it. Yes. That's why I can't go to Vegas, Jack. Can't afford it. I need a second. I need a signing bonus. You need to go with the guy that makes like the most money in the NFL at their position. That's who you go to Vegas with. But the places I hang out, Jack, either the happy hour, like Key West, like beers are expensive, right? But if you go to happy hour, they're all half off, or they're buy one, get one free, which is the same thing. So yeah, when you become of age, Jack, and we start doing this world, I'll introduce you. I'll take you under my wing like my dad took me, and I'll show you a good time, meet a lot of great people, and people that been guests on our podcast, people that sponsor our podcast, and you get to see it all. It's been really cool for us. So the bar of the week this week is Davis's Pub in Annapolis, Maryland. Stay tuned for next week. Bar of the week. We'll take suggestions, and we'd love to see people's ratings of different bars that they go to. We're going to go TVs, cold beer, or good drinks, cold beer, service, food, and ambiance. They're the 4 categories. Check them out. Send us your rating. What do you got, Jack?
I was going to say, before we switch gears and we're still on this non-football vibe, I feel like I need to get, before we lose track and before we bury the lead, 4th of July hot take. I wouldn't say hot takes, quick hitters, I guess is what we would call these quick hitters that I have cooked up for you for this past weekend.
Let's get them, Jack. Let's see what you got.
First one, we got hot dog or cheeseburger. Which is your 4th of July go-to?
I think for 4th of July, you got to go with the hot dog. That may be the one time a year I do have a hot dog. So I'm going to say hot dog.
Cold beer or mixed drink?
Cold beer. Now, we did have some orange crushers yesterday that were fantastic. Freshly squeezed, made them with the orange crushers. So it's a tough one for me, but off the top of my head, I got to say cold beer.
Cornhole or horseshoes? What's that game you're playing with that orange crushing?
Everyone's into cornhole now. It's the thing, and I love cornhole. Don't get me wrong, but horseshoes is the OG, so I'm all in on horseshoes.
I feel like we might have a little bit of a spoiler based on what you were talking about earlier: ribs or brisket.
Brisket.
A well-cooked brisket. Nothing touches it. A well-cooked brisket.
No, it's unbelievable. 12, 14-hour cook. Yeah, no doubt.
Now, are you a fireworks person? Are you big?
Absolutely not. I'm out on fireworks. They're done. They're done. Has nothing to do with what's going on in the world today. I'm talking about everywhere you go now, it's like chaos. I'm gonna live in this great town in Annapolis, Maryland. It's a fantastic place, right? I've lived in Cape May. I've been very fortunate, right? We need to have one set of fireworks. Like, here's where they're gonna happen. Here's where they go. There's people lighting them in the middle of the street. I get that. I'm not saying the party's not great. Trust me. Every question here has been having beers and having a good time. I'm all about that. But it's like getting chaotic now. It's getting literally chaos.
The
We
worst
had some
part,
dogs.
I mean, the lovely Jay Brad in the back, shout out Justin Bradley and I. The one thing we agree on every 4th of July for the last 3 years, it's just we are sick of seeing people. It's almost like when they go to concerts, 45 Snapchat stories or Instagram stories from one person posting all the fireworks.
I'm on the same page, man. I am on the same page.
But next, all right, watermelon eating contest or hot dog eating contest?
So I know, Jack, I'm going to get us pushed back here on that other meeting we had 10 minutes so we can go. Watermelon or hot dog eating? Listen, the hot dog eating contest is listen, again, I love a hot dog. I just said that, but that's ridiculous. I mean, that's punishment. It's like 40-something thousand calories. I don't even know what they're doing.
Dude, Joey Chestnut is unreal. I mean, that's an all-time. That's like a Michael Jordan shot over the Utah Jazz type performance with a torn tendon in his leg, putting a protester in a chokehold while he's still winning. He still won with all of that. It's
Unbelievable. Unreal. So I'm going to go watermelon over hot dog.
All right. Ice cream or water ice?
Ice cream.
All right. And then we got lemonade or sweet tea.
There is nothing better on this planet than fantastic sweet tea. Nothing better. You can't. It's nothing more.
Those years in Florida and Carolina have treated you well with the sweet tea, I assume.
A lot of Arnold Palmer action going on in Florida. A lot of sweet tea in Carolina. You texted me, Jack. So we got the bar of the week done. The first one. And again, that's not in any order. Davis's is one of my favorite bars. Don't get me wrong, but it's not in any order. The hat I'm wearing right here, Half Shell Raw Bar, is my favorite place on the planet. A lot of nostalgia, a lot of memories. Okay, Jack. So we did the 4th of July trivia. We did bar of the week. We have Stephan Stallings coming up. We talked about our friends over at SEET GEEK, Colin Thompson show. $20 off. How are you? How about a little bit of money? Save a little bit of money. The market's not that great right now, folks. Shocker. Save a little bit of money. You're going to an event, $20 off. Help us help you. Colin Thompson show. Our friends at the original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country, fudgekitchens.com. It's the holiday season. It's the summer. Send yourself some sweet freaking fudge, man. It's ridiculous. Or get down there and swing in and grab them. Tell them we said hi. Colin Thompson show, not for long media. Jack. And we're going to talk. We're going to have Adam Brenneman back on. Okay. The young king. Hot take. The young king of college football right now. Like, he's taken off. He's doing a great job. Absolute stud. We've had him on the pod very recently. What's up with college football right here? Listen, folks, it's over. It's over. So adapt to the new one or just don't watch it. The product's going to be fantastic. That's the end of the day. Well, I hear the whole thing of NIL ruined it and all this stuff ruined it. It was happening anyways. There's so much money. There's such big business. You can't have one thing and not all of it, right? You can't have coaches who can leave in $50 million buyouts and then no one else gets a piece and the NCAA gets it all. Some point in time, people are going to push back and say, I want a little bit of everything. We need a little bit of everything. Pay the players a little bit. There's extreme versions, folks, but that's not everybody. So everyone calm down, right? That's not everybody. College football is still college football. You're going to be dying and staring at the TV in October, and everyone's going to be tweeting about the Auburn-Alabama game. Nothing's going to change. They're just making some money now. So everyone pump the brakes. It's not going to change. The one thing that is changing, though, is conferences. And if you're a fan of the SEC and you're a fan of the Big Ten, Godspeed. Because, man, how much fun is this going to be? I love it. It's happening, so just embrace it instead of complaining about it. Because there's people that I've talked to. Obviously, the playoffs are going to expand, right? 10, 12, whatever that number is. I'm also hearing, too, there may be no more of the NCAA. Now, the NCAA is still going to exist, but I could see the Power Five creating their own thing, right? I'm not, that's rumors, that's whatever. That's it's not fact. That's an opinion with some sources involved. So take it for what it's worth. Take it for what it's worth. Hot take, not really, but also a little bit of sorcery. What are your thoughts on all this chaos?
I mean, in general, I'm not against the big power conferences. the thing that's in my brain that doesn't make sense is the logistics and locations of it all.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
why
You got to
is
drop all that. People got to drop all that. If you could play an NFL game, what's the difference? We fly out. Okay. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I love you, Jack. So I'm Penn State or I'm play at Temple, say, right? And we're playing Penn State, for example. They're playing USC. They'll fly right out of State College. They fly private. It's a 5-hour flight to the West Coast. It's no big deal. They're going to play. They're going to take off Friday. So they're going to miss classes on Friday. And they got to do the stuff online anyways. And now everything's online. So what's the big deal there? They're rolling. You go out to USC, you land. It's the same thing in the NFL. That's my thing. Like, if you can make people do it in the NFL that get paid, these guys are getting paid. They're flying first class anyways. What's the difference? It's changing. Everyone's got to strip it down. Once West Virginia went in the Big 12 anyways, I'm like, all right, it's over. Like, you can't have a team like Temple almost got in the Big 12. Cincinnati's going to be in the Big 12. Now Orlando, UCF in the Big 12. So that was like the beginning, and that really didn't bother everybody. But now USC and UCLA going to the Big 10 screws everybody up. On a side note, and I'm just spewing all the stuff that's coming in my head because Jack's the man. That's why he's the best producer and co-host in the game. He texted me and said, we got to talk Big 10. Is every game is going to be huge now for USC and UCLA. Like UCLA, Michigan State has got an awesome ring to it. Like USC, Penn State, awesome ring to it. The Rose Bowl is going to happen every year now. That's going to be the conference championship game. It's going to be awesome. They're going to play it out west, just like everything's going out west, right? The NFL Combine will eventually go there. You could have 4 NFL teams in LA. So I digress. I'm sorry I cut you off, Jack. Please continue about the geographic stuff.
It's just, I feel like it's going to take, I mean, you kind of saved the first class and everything will take away from it. I just still feel, I mean, I guess I'll leave it to the expert. I'm not an NFL player. I wasn't a player in a major conference.
No, but speak your mind, though. But that's another pet peeve. And speak your mind. You have your own opinion. Just because I play or whatever, that doesn't make it any greater. It's whatever.
I just feel like it would take a big toll on players. Like, if, for example, like a team, let's say Penn State, or not even Penn State, Michigan, I think is the better example. Michigan has to say, however, in like 3 years, they have a schedule where they have to go, they play somebody out of conference week 1, then week 2, they're all out west to USC, and then week 3, they have to go all the way to Rutgers, like out in Jersey. Like, I just feel like it's a big travel tool, and then you also have to think the NFL aspect. Like, all right, well, you have to look at a team like Dallas, who's technically in the NFC East, but is nowhere near any of them, so they have to fly to Philly, and then they could go play the Rams. So I guess it's almost like a leap for these guys in the sense of like, this is what they're going to expect if they make it to that next level. So, I mean, when you bring that sense into it, I guess it kind of makes more sense and like kind of helps with that. I also think I'm just concerned about how this will hurt the lesser programs, the less money making programs.
They're done. They're done. You better get hot now. If you're one of these teams that are like there was rumors about Temple going to the Big 12 while we were in it, right? Houston, Temple, UCF, Cincinnati, the teams that were good at the top of the American. When I think the Americans at the best, Navy was good. There was like 3 or 4 teams that weren't good at the time. Everybody was like ranked. It was like a very unique period. A lot of NFL players, and it's kind of dipped off. There's still high-end talent in that league. Obviously, UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati are leaving, right? ECU at that time was really good. They had the wideouts, the quarterbacks, they had some good players. Everybody did to some extent. So the league's not what it used to be, but Temple went down, so they missed that window of going to the Big 12. So they're I don't know. They got to win. Whoever can win these next 1, 2, 3 years could actually help you get bumped in. Someone will be like, all right, we'll take you into one of our conferences. We need 20 teams. So I think it's going to be great. I think it needed to change anyways to some degree. It was kind of outgrowing the current model. So I wouldn't be shocked if the season went longer. I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't play in any opening kickoff games versus a D1 AA team anymore. So it could get more prestigious, more room for error. Now maybe 2, 3, 4 losses can still make a champion, like a true champion now in the Big 12, or they're going to take the top 4 teams in the Big 12, right? They're automatically going to be in, or excuse me, the Big 10, the Northeast and out West. So again, we could sit here all day and do this. I want to save it for an episode. I want to get to the Stephan Stallings episode, but it's good stuff out of you, Jack. Anything else in the Big 10 before we go?
I'm interested. I mean, in terms of the conference alignment, I don't know if you saw this morning, Utah, Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado are reportedly meeting with the Big 12 today. Or not, today.
Which, again, that's like the bottom part of the country. It's going to be unique. It's like the big money schools that want to get out of the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 is not holding itself up, right? That's not a hot take. That's just real. The SEC's dominant. The Big Ten's dominant. It's got high-end teams. We're going to see what happens. Like, who's going to scoop up UNC? Like, who's going to take how's the ACC going to work? So,
if that gives us a yearly Clemson, Alabama, and a yearly Michigan, Notre Dame, like,
yeah, where's Clemson go? The SEC would be doing cartwheels to have Clemson. South Carolina's like, no. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. I get like the old days of college football and the old days of college basketball and the old NFL. I get that, folks. I get that. There's that crowd that's like, yes, please take it back to what it used to be. And I understand. I'm all for it. Like, I'm a diehard Flyers fan because of what they did in the 90s, 2000s, and early 2010s. But like, the things need to change in Philly, right? For the Flyers. Like, things need to change. So, like, the whole league has changed. Watch the NHL playoffs. Like, the whole league has absolutely changed. Like, it's a track meet. So my point is, change is inevitable. Yes, it's hard, but there's been change happening for a really, really long time, and it's all worked out to be okay. And the viewership's more than it's ever been, times a bazillion. So the whole crowd of no one watches the NFL anymore, that's BS. Check the numbers. And the whole crowd of, no one's going to be dialed into this new college football because players are getting paid too much and coaches and all that crap. People will be sitting in front of their TVs in the fall on Saturdays and Sundays. I guarantee you.
Without a doubt.
Jack in the back. Appreciate you as always, buddy. What just came up there?
I don't know if we had anything.
Okay, that was interesting. Sorry, we just had something pop up in the background there in the chat section, so I didn't know what that was.
Oh, we have a comment. That's what.
Okay, but it's something else. So we're gonna move on and we're gonna keep moving. So again, our friends over at SEET GEEK, promo code Colin Thompson, $20 off. Our friends over at Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. You know what to do. Ship it across the country. Fudge and sweet treats, fudgekitchens.com with an S. That's Jack in the back. Thank you so much to our team for making this possible. Stay tuned to Not For Long Media. We got some big hitters joining us here, some future podcasts, some podcasts being built. It's going to be an awesome time for Not For Long Media, the Colin Thompson Show moving forward. The bar of the week, the first one, shout out to Davis's Pub. Now we're going to send over to Stephan Stallings. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Steve, good luck this weekend in the Barbasol Championship. We'll be watching, supporting. Again, thank you so much for coming on, Steve. Enjoy the episode. Thanks, guys. Another fun guest here at Not For Long Media. Appreciate Stephan Stallings joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, and really enjoy being on the show.
Oh, thanks, man. It's something that's been a work in progress for a while. Full disclosure, my father-in-law played golf with your dad at LSU.
Yes. Yep. They were roommates, I think, for a year.
There you go. So roommates, and then Steve and I went to the Derby together a couple of years ago. That was fun. You guys are a Derby family, man. How did that start? Like, is that something you like always have been a part of your family? Like, hey, we're going to the Derby when you moved to, that area?
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to my great grandpa and grandpa. I mean, my grandpa was huge in the horse racing, so he just always was living at the track, and he just kind of got that into my dad. So I haven't gone since the year we went because I've normally been out of town, but my family pretty much goes every year. My dad's for sure there. It's just something that's been ingrained in my family for generations.
Yeah, it was cool. I remember last time when we went, there was a kid behind us that hit like something exact like after the Derby. There was one more race after the Derby, and the kid won like 15 grand or something like that. I was like, man, like, what an absolute luck of the draw. Like, he's like, I just pick random numbers and they hit. So, hey, good for him. He's in a
there was some nice paydays at Derby, especially this year with Rich Strike. So
yeah. So do you know any like crazy paydays? Like, is that something like you guys talk about like in your family? Like, hey, so-and-so made a bunch of money on this?
Well, I mean, I forget what Rich Strike won it, but he was at least like 50-1. So like, I mean, I think some guys I heard won over 100K and they didn't have to put up that much money to get it. So, I mean,
that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
what are you willing to wager?
Crazy.
What are you willing to wager? So enough about the ponies though. Where are you at now, man? I know you're traveling, you're playing all these different tours. Where are you at now?
I'm actually in Louisville right now. I got back, I did the Travelers Monday qualifier, didn't play too well. So I flew to Kentucky and I'm staying here and just waiting to, I'm going to drive up to Illinois for the John Deere Classic Monday. So I didn't fly back to Florida because it's just easier drive from here.
Okay. Can you fill, our audience in on kind of where you're at in your career right now, golf wise? Like, where are you in the golf sphere?
Yeah, so I spent the year playing Latin America. So I spent 10 of the first 4 months, 10 weeks out in the first 4 months of the year playing down in South America. So just that tour is kind of better explain it as like double A baseball compared in the golf. So by playing down there, you get a good schedule. You play week to week. Um, and yeah, and you if you play well, you have a chance. If you finish top 10 in the money list, you can get the final stage of Corn Ferry Q School, which help status for the next year. So it's a way to build status. But I also there's other ways too. But I also and I got an invite into the American Express early in the year in January. And I finished top 25, which got me FedEx Cup points, which also allows me to play in some Monday qualifiers and try to chase FedEx if I can get starts to chase FedEx Cup points. And if you get a certain amount of points, you quietly now they don't put it out on the internet or anything, but you silently add up points. And if you finish at the numbers like top 200 gets you into Corn Ferry playoffs, where in Corn Ferry playoffs, if you finish 25 for a 3-event series, you get your PGA Tour card. So it's just a lot of different options to try it. So it's just a grind, bouncing around, just trying to play wherever you can to try to get on the big stage.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I remember, we were talking through I was in transition. I was with the Bears at the time when I was with you guys, but I remember just talking to my father-in-law, Fred Dupree, played at LSU, was an All-American there, and talking about, you finding your niche, and you got to find he's been in your situation. He was in your situation, played in all these different tours, played in Europe, played in Asia, played in Canada, and just trying to find a spot on a tour and a home. And it's the same in football for me. Like, I just needed to get in somewhere and then get your feet wet and have a routine, because right in the football world, I'm just training for workouts to try to make the team. And it's almost like the same phase where you're at. It's like, well, I'm in this city. I didn't do that well, so I'm back home. I'm in this city. I did great, but I didn't do well enough to place or make the money or make the team in my case. So it's a grind, and you need like parents, you need a house, like you need like stability, or you just won't make it. Like some of my teammates, I give these guys so much credit how they can stick it out. They don't just point blank, don't have the support that I had off the field, because you need that. I wouldn't be in the league without it. I mean, talk about the sport you have and like the grind and the travel and just like booking flights on your phone and all the things that come with it, because I know you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, really, and I don't think a lot of people realize if you're not top 50 in the world, you're constantly don't really know your schedule because you don't know if you're getting in events. So, like, there's even guys like, I'm trying to think. Like a guy like Jason Duffner, he's won a major. I mean, he's not top 50 in the world right now. Like everybody's like, oh, he's on tour planner, but he's bouncing around. Guy named I played with a guy yesterday, Grayson Murray. He qualified U.S. Open last week, but he's won on tour 2 years ago. He doesn't even know when his next event is. Like, so it's just constantly battle. Like, I mean, literally, I'll book flights. I'll be one day and I'll get a call. Maybe I go play this event or something like that, and literally book a flight on the dime. It's really it's it's fun, but it kind of sucks too because it's like if you get a buddy, it's like, hey, why don't you come in town for like 2 days and like 3 weeks? And I'm like, I just can't. I can't like because I don't know where I'm gonna be, so I can't really commit to doing stuff like that. So, but yeah, you just gotta enjoy the processing and the grind and trying to get better. And you get to go to some cool spots. Like I've been all over. I think I've been in like 10 different countries now playing golf. So it's been pretty cool seeing new spots.
What was your favorite spot along the way?
Uh, I mean, when you're playing a PGA Tour event, like it's tough to beat the way the events run, so it makes everything a little bit better. But my favorite country that I've been to is like I went to Lima, Peru, a couple months ago, and I had a great time. The food was amazing, and it was just cool seeing all the spots and the golf course. It was a fun time. People were great, so it was a cool experience.
Got to book a guys trip to go play Lima, Peru. Love that.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to play golf there, but it'd be good for food. I mean, the food is unbelievable.
Why can't I play golf there? I'm not good enough.
No, it's just, I mean, it's like there's so many better spots in the States to play golf than Lima, Peru.
Yeah,
The
well, I
golf
mean,
course was good, but it doesn't equate to a golf course like in the States.
yeah, no doubt about it, man. I
The
hear
golf
you.
courses down in South America tend to be crammed with space, so it's like they're really quirky. It's a bunch of hitting irons between trees. Like, it's really nothing like a States golf course because you got trees lining fairways 10 yards wide. You're just trying to hit it straight. And instead, in the States now, you're just bombing driver everywhere and just trying to go real low.
The game has changed a lot, I'm assuming. Just in the last couple of years, like DeChambeau, these guys are hitting it so far. What are your thoughts on all that? Like, is that something you're trying to change your game on, or you're just trying to do what you do best?
I mean, I've naturally been a long hitter, so I haven't really had to focus on that because that comes natural to me. But yeah, it's changed in the last 10 years because now you got so many guys that hit it far and they're really good. So on a week to week basis, it just depends who's on. So many different guys could win, but you still got to make the putts. Like, to be consistent, the top 10 players in the world that are consistent are great ball strikers, but to win on that given week, you got to putt. So on any given week, somebody can have a ball striking week and they putt well and they normally win. Where if you're a great ball striker, if you don't make putts, you're not going to win. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, the consistency with that. What do you think, this whole LIV thing? I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. I'll say this. I'm excited for you because it opens up more opportunities for you to play golf. And, that's one thing I've talked to someone about the other day is, people say the integrity of the game and PGA Tour and all the stuff that goes on overseas. And I get all that. But it's like the XFL, the AAF, like, hey, it just opens up more spots to continue to show what you can do and more opportunities. That's how I took it. Yeah. Is it not the NFL? It's not the NFL. No, it's not. The NFL is one of the best leagues, if not the best league in the world to go to work. It's unbelievable. But I love the opportunities now the USFL is offering. There's like 4 or 5 different minor league football leagues. Here comes this LIV league, and they're offering, $4 million to win a tournament, hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts to players. What's the draw? I don't know all that, but what are your thoughts about that league? Was something you'd ever play in?
I don't know enough information about it, but I mean, it sure sounds. I hear the numbers. I mean, some of these guys are getting paid $10 million just to signing bonus, basically. I mean, I heard Koepka has like at least 50 million. I mean, it's hard to turn down. I mean, I don't know all the information, so it's hard to really comment if I would go if I got the offer. But it's intriguing. There's a lot of moving parts. I think it's good for the tour because they haven't had any competition and they haven't. I don't personally think they've listened to their players that much the last 15 years. They've kind of gone the old school route. So I think it's going to bring some good changes. What they're going to do, I don't know, but I do think the tour is scared because, I mean, they're losing now. They're not losing the top young guys, but they're losing a lot of their personalities, and the personalities bring headlines, and that's some problems for the tour. So we'll see what they do.
No
I
doubt,
saw they
man.
released some stuff today.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to respond, right? You got DeChambeau, Pat Reed, Anser, Kevin Na, Taylor Gooch, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson. I mean, these are faces of golf. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, we're at a new era in golf too, because it's like guys are actually they're not making the money NFL guys are really making, but in other sports, but they're making enough money where they can retire at like 35 if they wanted to. But I think because of the old school personality in golf, it's not really a thing to retire at 35. So I think you got a lot of guys that want to retire, raise a family, and they don't know how. So I think LIV gave them an option to go ahead and cash out and retire and hang out with the family and play less.
That's
because
really
the tour
good.
The tour right now is just forcing playing down the throat. I mean, you got to play a minimum of 18 events. Like a guy like Sergio Garcia, why does he want to play 18 events? He's 40 something years old. He's already done it. He's got 2 young kids. He wants to spend more time at home. So I think it gives him a way out and to retire a little bit early.
That's a great point. And, they always mention that, it's so many different now, right? I think it's like 40. I have the number here somewhere. I can't find it right now, but it's like 40 plus, mid 40s, like say 45 events a year. I think it is 48. Could be wrong. 52 weeks
for the tour.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it's in I think it's in the 30s. I could be wrong.
I looked it up the other day. It's a real good prep by me, and I put it down because I heard someone say it, and I knew you and I were going to interview. And I'm like, this will be interesting to get your opinion. But I think it was mid 40s. What I heard. Now I could be dead wrong. I'm not saying you have to go to them, but it was just interesting that they have 54 events a year. I think it is on the PGA Tour, and it's like, wow, not 54. Excuse me, 44. Something in that mid 40s. I'm like, that's a huge number.
That sounds right. Yeah.
It's a big commitment.
So,
that's That's a 2-month off season. Now, it's unique, right? Guys are building in their own off season. They're missing those tour events, but then the other events like get just diluted and watered down. That was my challenge. We talked about the Masters on here. I'm like, well, why aren't they all like this? Now I get it's the Masters and all these different things, but why not? It's so built up. There's so much advertising for it. There's huge names in it. There's brands around it. There's celebrities there. It's a icon. Now the U.S. Open is fun and it's entertaining, but I don't know. I drop what I'm doing to watch the Masters. I don't drop what I'm doing to watch the U.S. Open. I will put it on. Don't get me wrong, but my point is really what I'm getting back to is your statement about they have not listened to the players. I think the NFL really does a great job of listening to their players. Has it got them in a great place? Yes. People say, oh, no, the product and all the whole fans that say, I don't watch the NFL thing. I don't believe it. It's crap. The ratings are higher now than they ever been ×2. So they listen to their players and they make adjustments, and you need anything, they're going to find a way to get it done, or they're going to give you a reason why they didn't get it done. The PGA Tour is like kind of done the old school approach. Like, this is how we've always done things. You got to adapt or die, in my opinion. And listen, competitive's good. There's more drama. There's more interest. That's what golf needs. Tiger Woods gave it to him on a platter. Without Tiger Woods, you and I probably aren't even talking right now, because these all the Ferry Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, Canadian Tour, European Tour, they just don't have the same juice. Now, the trickle-down effect from Tiger's massive. I'm all over the place with that, but I just want to comment that I think you got to listen to your players more.
No, I agree. And they hide everything too. It's kind of, I mean, we're not in the day and age, I think, with fantasy, and you got to embrace the betting, I think, the gambling. So you got to be a little bit more open to the public. I mean, even if that means throwing some of your players under the bus, it just it's something that they're going to have to do.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
it will be.
I mean, I think golf's really struggling to find an identity in the post-Tiger era, because, I mean, they were so ready, like right after Tiger. I mean, because Rory's, I don't know how popular he would be, but the reason he got so popular is people were ready to crown him the next Tiger. And he kind of just has stayed there, where now you got like Scotty Scheffler. He's the #1 player in the world, and people, U.S. Open, you didn't even know who he was. I mean, he flew under the radar. He even made that comment in a press conference. He said, I was the #1 player. I'm the #1 player in the world, and it's almost like y'all forgot about me. And he goes and gets second. I mean, they're searching for a player that's a little bit of everything. They don't want the perfect guy. They want somebody that's a little polarizing and shows some emotion. So we'll see what happens with that. And to be honest with you, like, I'm not so sure we'll ever have that guy again with the way the game of golf's changed, because you got so many different guys that can compete now and win on any given week.
That's a great point. There's a lot of even talent. No, I mean, look what baseball's driven into. And someone who was a Phillies fan, and they had star players, and they were put on mountains in Philadelphia by the Philadelphia media, but not by the MLB. The MLB, I mean, you turn on games around the league, like look at highlights on ESPN, like there's no one in the stands, unless it's like,
yeah.
I mean, even the Yankees games aren't even full, right? And the Yankees are best team in the AL or whatever they are. But the point is this, to me, it's just get busy living or get busy dying, especially in the sports world, because someone's going to find a way to compete with it and live saying, hey, listen, I want to do this. I thought the one thing I heard Scott Van Pelt talking on the Rich Eisen show this week, I just, punched it in this morning just to learn about different things. And I kind of want to hear that topic, and they weren't talking about it because Brooks Koepka just came out that Brooks was going over to LIV. And they were talking about it yesterday, and he's like, this is kind of what Scott said in a way. Is it interesting? What's the sell for LIV? They're winning a lot of money. Yes, it's a 54-hole shotgun. Like, is that a sellable market? I don't know if I'm interested in that. Is it a topic of conversation? Like, are people really consuming it? He said the people that he talked to and the most people that I've talked to, like they didn't watch it on YouTube. And then, the loyalty is for sale, right? Everyone's got a number. So, you're only loyal to something for so long. There's a million ways to consume golf now. Any sport. I don't know if it's going to last with YouTube or what's going on. How's that affected, like down into, the level that you're playing at? Like, is there visual? Like, is it on TV? Like, is the business side of it reaching to even a lower level of golf?
I mean, there's sponsors, but there's no TV. I mean, the tour limits, I think, the Corn Ferry to only 9 events a year. It's kind of weird because they put it on Golf Channel, and the Golf Channel, I don't understand it, but they have to pay Golf Channel to put it on. You would think it would be the opposite. But whenever PGA, from what I was told, and I could be wrong about this, when the PGA Tour is broadcasted on Golf Channel, the PGA Tour is paying for that TV coverage. Now, granted, when it's on CBS, NBC, they're paying the tour, but when it's on Golf Channel, so Latin was on TV down there, but it wasn't on TV in the States. But everything else, I mean, there's tons of Twitter. There's a lot of like small sports marketing people that pick it up and journalists. So I mean, it's definitely growing, but it's still not mainstream.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Livs is going to be an interesting thing. I had to ask you that question because it's the number one thing. To me, it's put golf back on the map. It's great. A little drama.
Yeah, I mean, no one knows. They have no plan. They're just throwing money around, and it's hysterical.
And the guys are loving it because the players are saying, "Hey, listen." Like the funny part is, you got a guy like Brooks who's like ripping Phil Mickelson for going over there, and now a week later he's going over there. So your loyalty and your everything for sale. But here's a general question for you, because again, I've talked about you bouncing around. You're trying to find a way in. You've had success, ups, downs. Everybody has in the profession. I just know that just from being in it, and just it's obvious, right? So, how have you stayed afloat? How have you stayed relevant in this business?
Well, I mean, it's really just having a good support team. I mean, that's my parents have helped me out a lot. I've had some good sponsors. So it's just kind of like going day to day, work for my coaches, work for my sponsors, just trying to create good relationships and networking. I mean, that's really kind of everything. And then make sure I try to get better every day. I mean, if you're not trying to get better, I mean, you're losing ground. So, I mean, that's the key. I mean, you don't want to stay complacent, and it's also like just in life in general, it's like you got to be rounded off the course. So, I mean, I've really tried to focus on relationships, networking, and just have a good support group around me.
What's next for you here moving forward?
I'm playing.
Yeah, go ahead. In the short term.
So in the short term, so it's just getting. I'm going to be chasing PGA Tour Mondays for the next 5 weeks. Try to see if I can get enough FedEx Cup points to see if I can sneak in the top 200 or maybe do even better than that. I have a sponsor exemption in the Barbasol Championship in 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. So I won't have to Monday that week. So that's a good opportunity for have a good week and to see what happens and maybe gain some more status. We'll see how it goes.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win one. I got the hot take meter here. We get the Not From All Media Colin Thompson show effect. If you come on the show, you're gonna be successful. It's just what happens. So we're gonna get it out there, the good juju that you're gonna win one here. Let's transition back though. Let's go back to your childhood. Let's go back to how you fell in love with golf, and then transition through high school, and then you're a Kentucky Wildcat.
Yeah. So I mean, I was born in Louisville, and I mean, my dad played golf, so like I always had a club around me. I don't think I really liked the sport that much. I would go play with him. I played every sport, whatever was in season. I played football, basketball, lacrosse, baseball, played everything, and then got to middle school and kind of started picking a little bit around 7th, 8th grade, and I was kind of down between lacrosse, football, and golf going into high school, and golf and football were the same season. And the last couple of years in the summer, I was playing a lot of golf with a lot of friends and just fell in love with it, and decided to choose golf, and just kind of went from there. And then just worked really hard. I'm fortunate with my dad just helping me out, and he also had a lot of great contacts in the game. So he got me in front of the right people where I could grow and get better. Went to St. Xavier, which was a pretty good. We're a pretty good golf school. I mean, I think my senior year on the team, we had about 10 guys go D1 on that team. So it was a good atmosphere to be around. Justin Thomas was 2 years ahead of me in school, so I got to see somebody at the top of the level and look what I could possibly be. And then just kept getting better, got some college looks, took numerous visits, and took a while, but I decided to stay home in Kentucky. And so I went to Kentucky, had a great time for 4 years, had some good coaches, had a great team, made a lot of memories, and just kept trying to get better in golf and give myself an opportunity to turn pro when I graduated.
When you turn pro and you're in that transition phase between becoming a college player and a pro, is this something that you said, I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to make this, or now you look back and you say, man, I'm actually doing better than I thought?
Um, I don't really know. I mean, I thought I mean, I look back and I realize how young and dumb I was, really. I mean, it's just so much. I got so much more maturity now, and I'm more relaxed about situations. So like I don't like I used to get all worked up about certain things, and now I'm not. Just kind of let it go with the process. But it's like, I mean, I realize I probably didn't realize how good I was back then. Now I have that confidence. But it's also like I've always been looking at every level, going up from high school to college. It always took me a couple years to really get into the groove of things and seeing how it was. So like when in college, my freshman sophomore year, I was good. I was playing, but I wasn't at the level I needed to be. And then after seeing that for 2 years and getting the handle of it all, the light bulb kind of clicked. And it's kind of been that with pro golf. I mean, my first year and a half, I kind of definitely mentally was getting worn down. It's a lonely sport out there. I mean, golf, you don't have a team. But I would say after about a year and a half, everything started clicking. I started having a lot of fun. I really enjoy the traveling, and it's definitely I'm right there, and I just hope to try to take advantage of an opportunity I have coming up.
You're right there, bro. And you came on the show, so you're going to win and take off. It's just how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works. Okay, so take us into the business side of sports, and we're going to get into your diet, like pregame. I love all that stuff, like what you eat in pregame. Some guys eat a freaking McDonald's burger, some guys do pasta, but we'll get into that in a second. Talk us about sponsors in golf. Like everyone's got them all over. They have the certain clubs, they have certain hats. Like take us into the business from people that have no idea about it. How does that work? Are they paying players? Are they giving product? How long are the sponsorship deals? You have to win X amount to get those deals. Talk about what you have right now. How does that all work?
So it all depends. Each player's different. But like at my level, really until you get to the PGA Tour, you're not really gaining that much. You're not really making that much money off sponsors. You're kind of just raising money to pay for the year because everything's out of pocket. There's no guaranteed um, paycheck. Like if you go to an event, miss the cut, you're not getting paid. Even on the PGA Tour, you're losing your expenses that week. So if you paid $1,000 for a hotel room and flight, I mean, you lost $2,000 right there if that's on the minimum. Then you got to pay your caddy. So it's about trying to raise the funds. So that a lot has to do with networking, and just creating relationships with players, with companies, and with people in your community. So I'm fortunate enough to have a handful of people that have helped me out in some companies, and I've grown from that. So it's like a lot of posting on Instagram and social media, trying to build my reputation, and finding people that believe in me and want to help me out and give me some money to keep pay for my expenses and to keep going week to week. But it's all different. Depends on the person. Most of the club companies do not, unless you're on tour, you're not really getting paid. You're just getting product. Um, cool thing about Strixon that I like, they're the only company that really does it, is like if I get a start on tour, they give me incentives and stuff like that. So they will give me cash there. But other than that, most companies are just giving product for guys not on the PGA Tour. But then every other company is just different. It just depends on the player and the situation. But again, like in my age, with where I am right now, it's a lot about building relationships, networking, just being nice to people, and getting them to believe in you and helping you out and just going from there.
I love it, man. That's great. I love the business side of sports. Such a cool thing for me to always discuss with our guests because it's a world that people may not even know to even ask about or what it is. I just see Srikshan on your hat, but it's cool. People love that stuff. I appreciate you sharing. So, all right, you're teeing off at noon. It's it's a Sunday afternoon. You're going to win whatever tour, whatever match, whatever it may be. Take us into the night before, the meal, the sleep, the regiment, the morning breakfast, how many balls you're hitting, the process, from, pretty much the meal to the hitting ball to the sleeping to whatever you got to do from the locker room to walking out to the tee box. And you fill us in on kind of your grind, your schedule, your mindset to get your mind and body and everything ready to roar.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it starts on Monday for the week. I mean, you show up to the event on Monday, get your practice in, get your prep, get your notes, and then just get comfortable there. And then then like once you go to the tournament, I mean, like the night before, normally I get done with the round. Like on Saturday, I would get done. I'll play, get done the round. I'll go just go to the range and just work on my alignment and technique for like 15, 20 minutes. Just get some habits maybe I created on the golf course out. Then I'll do the same thing with putting, and then I'll go home and try to forget about golf. Really don't want to think about it, to be honest. Just get your mind relaxed and ready for the next day. Dinner just depends where I am. Like when I was down in South America, I mean, a lot of steak. Don't really want to trust their chicken. So yeah, the
good.
food down there, it's good, but you got to be
Late.
careful what you eat. So, but I mean, so I'll just wherever I am, I'll eat whatever, and then go to bed. Then Sunday, if it's afternoon tea time, I'll wake up. Normally get some breakfast, get a quick light workout, stretch kind of in, just to get body going, and then it's kind of just kill time. I mean, just depends what I'm in the mood for that week. Then get some lunch, go warm up, and play. My routine normally is I like starting my warm up an hour before I play. So I'll start out on the range and start with wedge, work my way up through my irons all the way to driver, and then I go back to my wedge and hit that a couple times, get rhythm back, and then I go to the putting green and I'll do 15 minutes of putting, working on really trying to get my speed dialed in for the day, and then go back. Then I'll hit 5 minutes on some chips, just to get a good feel for how I'm chipping it that day, and then I go back to the range and hit about four whatever I'm hitting off first tee. I'll hit four of, and then just walk to the tee and go.
I love it.
So,
all right.
Yeah, just try to be predictable.
I'm playing tomorrow, so I'm over here taking notes. I'm going to be dialing in on everything. For me, and this one, you're a bad golfer. I've gotten better. Stephen. But I don't want to get rid of all my good swings on the range. Like, honestly, that's how I am. I become very fatigued playing golf, which is crazy. Like, I could be in the best shape of my life football wise, but I'll have a cart and we'll roll 9, and I'm like, can we just go to lunch and go home? Like, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm tired.
Come on. You're in better shape than I am.
Dude, it has nothing to do with it, man. It fatigues me. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm like, am I soft? Like after 18 holes, I'm like, I need a nap. But yeah, I mean, maybe if I was walking, it'd be a little bit different, but I don't know. It's a mindset thing. I'm trying to have fun and let loose, but I'm so competitive with it. It's hard not to be, but yeah, I'm improving. I don't want to get rid of my good shots on the course. Okay. Yeah. There's got to be some good travel stories, especially in your pro career, like last minute flights, making a tee time by 30 seconds. Like, there has to be some. You got to lay one on us here before we wrap things up. We have one question, and then we got some rapid fires, and we'll let you go. We appreciate Stephan Stallings joining us, future stud on the PGA Tour, because he joined Not For Long Media, and current stud wherever he's at now. He's on a million different tours, balling out. So what do you got for us? You got to definitely have a travel story.
I got a lot of really good ones, but I don't know if they'll really go well on. They're better off the record. But
okay, I like those too.
When you're in South America, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's interesting.
I believe it.
But
what can you share?
The best story. So this is during COVID. So long story short is it was just a Monday. I wasn't even planning. I didn't play the weekend. I didn't have anything. I knew for sure I wasn't going to have anything for like 2 weeks. So I kind of took the weekend off, kind of doing some housework. My mom had me in town in Florida, and I think I was painting. I was painting, like spray painting this like dresser we were putting in the house or something outside. And my mom all of a sudden it's like noon, and it comes running out of the house, and she goes, "You need to call your dad." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "You need to go to the Dominican." So long story short is the PGA Tour, at the time, my dad was kind of acting as my agent and manager a little bit, helping out with that stuff. Now I have an agent, but at the time my dad was doing so. The PGA Tour called my dad, where the Dominican Republic, because of COVID and a lot of Europeans, they either failed the COVID test and or couldn't get into the country. So there was a handful of sponsor exemptions that had opened up, and this is noon on Monday of the event, so like completely out of the blue. So so they basically said, is like, can you get to the Dominican in 48 hours? And I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can. And so within the next 4 hours, I had to get a COVID test, and this is back when COVID tests did not come back quick. So we called like 30 different spots in my area in Sarasota and Tampa to try to get a COVID test to get out that night to get to the event. It was crazy. So we drove an hour and a half to get a COVID test so I could get it back in 3 hours. I got on a flight, and I got on a flight to Charlotte, not knowing if the COVID test was going to be negative or positive. I was a little nervous. This was my first COVID test, and sure enough, it was negative. And I slept in Charlotte that night and flew the next morning to Punta Cana and played the event. But that was probably the craziest thing, because I didn't know anything, and randomly, not even thinking it could happen or knew it was a possibility, I could call at noon. So on the Monday event, so that was pretty cool. And then I got in the event, had a pretty good, finished 30, and so I had a pretty good week. Nice payday when I didn't even think I was gonna be playing that week. So it was a
That's
fun
always
time.
good,
So
man. That's nothing bad. Like, especially when you show up and you ball out and you get paid, it's always good. But also when you're like on that flight home, you're like, all right, this shit show was worth it. You know, this was worth
yeah,
it.
I mean, because of all the COVID stuff, and I getting in, and like I showed up at the airport Tuesday at like in Punta Cana at 2 p.m. So I was like, and you can't play on Wednesdays on the tour because of Pro-Am day. So there's no practice rounds if you're not in the Pro-Am, and I wasn't in the Pro-Am. So I literally got in at 2, and I show up to try to get my courtesy car, and I wasn't even on the list yet. So I waited at the airport for 2 hours to get my courtesy car. I played like 3 holes of a practice round. So I played the course pretty much completely blind on Thursday and shot 68. So I just kind of crazy how things go. I mean, I was pretty nervous. So
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
yeah.
I have some funny stories that I will tell when my career's over. But until then, I will not tell them. Things have been going okay. But yes, last minute changes, different things. It's been quite the journey, and it's been a lot of fun. And you know, I know you're having a blast. I'm having a blast, but it's not easy,
Yeah.
man. And it's not for the faint, hearted. You got to be dialed in 100% on this thing, and you got to be willing to be like, hey, listen, screw it. I played 3 holes, right? Or for me, a guy like me, I haven't ran in a week. Here I am in an NFL football, like whatever that may be. You just got to strap it up and go and just say, screw it. I'm gonna figure it out. So credit to you, man. So
That's the worst feeling in pro sports, when you don't feel prepared.
It is a really bad feeling, but I'll say this. I guess I'm always preparing mentally, whether I want to admit it or not. I'm not sitting here saying I'm always visualizing or whatever, but I kind of always am. Like if you're always thinking about something, you always are. And I'm like, I do a lot of stuff to get my mind off it, whether we're, have a couple beers or we're traveling or we don't stop moving, Sid and but it is a really bad feeling, but I've had a lot of good opportunities like you had at that event. Just be like, screw it. I know what I'm doing. I can do this thing.
Yeah.
I've got
No, it doesn't mean you can't play well, but
exactly. But how long and how consistent, I don't know.
Yeah.
Credit to you,
Which
man.
training camp?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Training camp's coming up here pretty soon, man. So I got my process of how I'm getting through it. I'll be training camp end of July. So July 26th we start. Condition test the first day. Nothing too crazy. Be a good little conditioning test, a little run, a little jaunt around. It's not like the old days where you run miles and all that crap. It's just like 30-yard tempo runs. You got to make them in certain times, and it's all about hamstring health and knee health and all that stuff. It's changed. I've had crazy conditioning tests over years. 300s, just life-changing runs. But I digress, man. Looking forward to the season. It's going to be a fun one for us in Carolina. I think we have a lot to look forward to. Back against the wall, got to win. A lot of players, you have a lot to prove. So it's going to be exciting. Who's your NFL team?
Bengals, man. You knew
Bengals.
that.
That's right. I did know that. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're at the Super Bowl this year. How was the Super Bowl experience?
Oh, it was unbelievable. I mean, other than the last minute, I mean, that stadium is unbelievable. It's the coolest thing I've ever been in my life. I was so nervous, though, leading up to the whole day. I don't think I've been that nervous in my life. I was shaking. I woke up in the game. I don't remember what time the game was out there. Like, what is it, 3, 4 o'clock probably?
It was earlier there. Yeah, I completely forgot. I don't know why I forgot.
Yeah.
Man, that's
I
tremendous.
think it's normally at 6, so it was like 3 o'clock. I was shaking the whole day. I was like, we were sitting. We got to the game like an hour and a half early, and I was like, I was leaving for a tournament to Mexico the next day, so I was like, I didn't want to really, like, wasn't really trying to drink, but I was gonna have a couple beers, and then like the first 30 minutes, I like drank the beer, and I'm like, man, I'm drinking this way too fast.
Yeah.
I
That's my
need to
point,
slow.
man.
I need to slow down. I was so nervous.
Sometimes you just got to strap it up and say, whatever, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Yeah. But
Yeah.
you got to
I mean,
evaluate the Super Bowl. What a great Super Bowl. But, it's crazy, man. The Bengals were right there. Really right there.
yeah,
Not-
I'm excited. I mean, you got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I mean, watching LSU, then played LSU, being because my dad went to LSU. I mean, it's pretty exciting stuff, and they're very, to me, they're likable guys. So pretty excited because we've had a lot of shitty years as Bengals fans.
I've only heard good things about those two guys. I mean, I hear good things about 99% of the NFL. Yeah. I mean, the Bengals, man, they're rolling. We play them this year. We play them at Cincinnati. We do. You guys got to come up. If you're not golfing, man, if you're
Well,
not
I
in,
won't. I'll be in Florida with my dad. I mean, I might come. When y'all play, when you play the Bucks yet?
we play the Bucks in Tampa New Year's Day, I believe. So
Maybe we can hit that up.
we'll
Because
hit
that's what
that
I
up.
mean. I'm in Bradenton, so it's
Love it
50
there.
minutes to the stadium. So
Love it there. Love it there. Is that near IMG?
yeah, it's same town, but I'm like probably 30 minutes away. I'm more inland.
Okay. Well, there's a little place in the water there that me and Fred, this is great radio and podcasting, by the way. There's a little bar and restaurant there on the bridge, like heading to the beach, like a little shack, fish shack on the left hand side. You get like a fish sandwich and a beer. I don't know what it's called, but it's fantastic. Sydney played a cross tournament there. There was like 3 or 4 lightning delays. So Fred and I grabbed a beer and fish sandwich there. So check it out. I'll look it up when we're done here. This is not
All
good.
right.
Whatever. This is
I'll
great.
look.
This is how I want it to be, anyways. How would you like being about that? What do you like being down there for? I mean, obviously the golf and all that's tremendous, but being in Florida is, I mean, I love it, man. I could live there tomorrow if we could.
I don't like the cold weather. I hate it. Kentucky gets too cold in the winter, so I can practice more golf in the winter. And I just fell in love with it because it's kind of close. It's kind of like home in West Florida, where it's not hectic and traffic's not like horrendous like it is over on the East Coast in Miami, Orlando.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just kind of like there, and I mean, I don't know. I haven't lived in Louisville really in so long because I was in college, and then after college, I moved into Florida. So I mean, I just like being away from home a little bit, and I really just enjoy the weather and just being in Florida. Really,
Yeah, you create your own life, and being in Florida is great. The weather, just the opportunity, like, oh, we're gonna go to the beach today. Our friends got a boat. We're going here. I just love that. I was homesick my first year there, but man, once I got settled in, I'm like, I'm good. I'll see you guys later. Like I regret being homesick because it was like, home's great. Don't get me wrong. We're, you and I are fortunate to be from similar areas and great places, but no, Florida's the move. Florida's the move for sure.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to experience winter ever again.
oh man, no, keep playing golf, bro. You'll be good. You can keep paying to live anywhere you
Yeah,
want. You and Dustin and Paulina and the gang will all be, down at Jupiter together hanging out. You'll all be neighbors. And I'll
yeah.
be that guy on the
I
boat
think
just coming by. I'll be parking my boat, docking my boat right out behind your house.
I love it.
That's the plan. See, that's what happens when you come on Non for Loan Media. We
Yeah.
make plans. Now you got goals. I'm making plans for you. I haven't even seen you in 5 years.
There we go. Yeah.
All right.
We need to make that happen.
But we will make it happen. Okay, let's do some rapid fire questions and wrap things up with Stephan Stallings. All right. Best golfer of all time.
Tiger Woods,
Who's second?
Jack Nicklaus.
Okay. Your favorite personal golfer to watch?
Right now or all time?
Sure, both.
Tiger all time. Right now, Justin Thomas.
Why JT?
Because he's probably to me, in my opinion, he's the best shot shaper out there right now. Like if you need a shot hit, you want him hitting it. You don't want anybody else. I mean, if you want 17 greens hit out of 18, then you go with like Will Zalatoris. But Justin can hit any shot right now, and he's by far better than anybody else doing it.
I put pregame meal on here. This was done earlier, but pregame meal. What's your ideal like pregame breakfast or meal before you go out?
Breakfast, normally like eggs, sausage, omelet. Well, actually, probably an omelet with about everything on it. That's probably breakfast. just like the night before meal, if I could choose, probably tacos, some sort
Wow.
of Mexican. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Favorite moment in Kentucky as a student athlete? Could be playing, could be watching events, could be whatever it may be.
Favorite moment. So, I would say my favorite moment was probably Aaron Harrison hitting the shot against Michigan and Wisconsin in the tournament and he did it actually 3 games in a row. He did it Louisville, Michigan, and Wisconsin my freshman year, and we were in Lexington all 3 of those weekends, and it was crazy.
Love that.
Do anything to
Wow.
live that month again. It's only if they would have beat UConn in the championship, it would have been special.
Your freshman year, what year was that?
2014 spring.
Yep. That's some good years of college basketball. I mean, they're all really good, but okay. What ball are you hitting and why?
Strixon XV, Strixon Z-Star XV, because I think it's the best ball. It fights through the wind a little bit better. It's firmer. It's a little bit firmer than most other balls, and I like that with my swing speed, so I can maximize my distance with my driver, but it's also got the softness where I can spin a chip shot and stuff like that. So
Looks like I'll be buying those the other day. I need all the help I can get.
yeah.
Hole in one. Do you have any?
I have 4.
4.
So,
wow.
yeah.
Can you tell me where they all were?
Like 7th grade at a public course in Louisville, long run.
Okay.
It's like the 8th hole, and then I had 3 in a 3-month stretch. This past winter, I had I had like 2 in November at the course I live on, Lakewood National, and then I had one in the practice round at the Amex. So that was kind of cool. So
that is sweet. Hitting the practice round. Probably the talk of the course that day.
Yeah. There wasn't it was weird because there were the only people there really it was kind of later in the evening, and it was really only my caddy, and I got in late because that was another scenario. I didn't get the call till Monday at noon, so I was like the only one on the course, and it was my caddy, and there was like probably 15 volunteers, and no one really knew what happened because they weren't paying that much attention. They just heard the clang. It like flew right in, didn't make a mark on the grass. It was pretty cool.
You dunked it.
Yeah.
Keep building that callus, man. Like those tournaments of showing up late and all that stuff. Like, I don't need to tell you this, but that's stuff you'll rely on later. And there's crazy stories, man. I got a call, just a quick one where you wrapped up. My story is, I just finished Giants mini camp. They didn't re-sign me. This is like when I was 2nd or 3rd year playing pro. I was on my parents' couch, literally on their couch, trying to take a nap. Just been training all week and just grinding a little bit. And my agent said, if you don't get a call from me by Friday or Thursday or a Wednesday, excuse me, you're not going to a mini camp this weekend. There's like a rookie mini camp season right after the draft every year. This is like my 3rd year out. So the 3rd draft year, I guess, be like 2020, 2019, probably 20. Yeah, 20. So whatever. I just finished up with the Giants, 4 or 5 days past, no call. So I'm sitting on my parents' couch this Thursday. My phone starts to ring. It's my agent. Hey, you could be going to New Orleans here. We don't think it's going to happen, but you could be going to New Orleans this weekend. I'm like, what? He's like, let me call you back. They're calling me. Calls me back. He's like, dude, you're going to New Orleans. I'm like, what? I'm going to New Orleans? The camp starts now. The camp's starting in New Orleans right now. Like they have a meeting tonight at 5. It's 5 o'clock Eastern time. I'm in Pennsylvania. We got no time to talk. We got to get you on the first flight. They're going to call you from New Orleans right now. You're going to New Orleans. Pack your bags. Someone felt a physical and you're going in behind them. Like, okay, here we go. So I called my dad who was, out, and I said, Dad, I need a ride to Newark Airport. He's like, what? I'm like, I need a ride to Newark Airport. I'm going to New Orleans. Like, I'll call you back. I mean, I'll come get you. So he picks me up. We go to New Orleans. I run through the airport. We go to Newark Airport, which is like an hour and a half from my house. We made it like in an hour. And I took off. I mean, I was soaked on that plane from running, like literally sprinting through the airport. I was like sore when I was on the plane. I got up off the plane. I was so tight from like sitting on the plane for 3 hours. I was like trying to stand up in the back of the plane and stretch and all this crazy shit. Like literally not ready to go. I didn't get the offensive playbook until the following morning. They already did a whole offensive install. I had to learn so I got to the special teams meeting like 10 minutes before it, and I taught myself the offense in 10 minutes. Thank God there was They teach the whole thing, right? Just the stuff that we're doing that day. It's not a lot. It's a 2-hour practice.
That's impressive. Those
Dude,
playbooks look fucking
dude. They're thick.
insane.
They're thick now, but again, it had a lot of similar terms that I've been in before. So I'm like, okay, I know this, know that. Now, if I went to another system, I would have been. There's no way, and I'm not going to name teams, but there's some other systems that are different than that I know. And I've been in this one for about 5 years now. I don't know the exact terms they use, but I can kind of ballpark what they want. And I sat there like 10 minutes before, and I just ripped right through the thing. I'm like, okay, good. I know the script. Dan Campbell's a tight end coach, one of the best in the league. He's now the head coach of the Lions. And yeah, boom, had it like literally the mini cab of my life, made plays everywhere. And I ended up staying and missing a couple of flights because the Saints said they were going to possibly sign me. So I stayed, missed flight, and then they did not sign me, which is, fine. It's how the business goes. That stuff happens. But yeah, I ended up doing really well in New Orleans and, made a name kind of for myself that weekend for the couple of coaches that I've kind of been in contact with now too. So that's my crazy moment, like literally in the middle of a nap, making plans for the weekend. Actually, we were going to go to Jersey and watch Iration and a reggae band. We ended up booking the VRBO or the Airbnb like 3-4 hours before I took the nap because I knew I didn't get a call from my agent. I'm done. So for the kids out there, it's not all perfect. The stuff you see on TV of these guys hitting the ball and all this great stuff and a bunch of guys making tackles and all these plays, there's always a grind before it. So I know you've been through the grind.
A lot going on behind the scenes. Thank you. You too.
I appreciate you coming on, man. It was good talking a little bit of everything. I wanted to get your opinion on the LIV stuff and the PGA Tour stuff. But Stephan Stallings, keep balling, man. We look forward to watching you, throughout your whole career. And since you've been on Not For Long Media, like I said, you're going to be a PGA Tour stud and veteran now. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. Enjoyed it.